What's up, everybody? It's your favorite chubby cosplayer's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Star Wars Black Series TIE Fighter Pilot. And the reason why I say chubby cosplayer is because if you've ever been to a convention and seen people cosplay, or the 501st or whatever, it's usually the big boys that they put in the TIE Fighter suit. And what took me by surprise the moment I got this guy out was how slim he was, and that doesn't seem appropriate. Now, I know they're slimmer in the movies, but it doesn't seem that this is a problem too. We'll talk about that, but it doesn't seem appropriate really in the toy for me. So it made me think about like the recruiting process for the Empire. All right, thank you for applying, Stormtrooper. Yes, sir, Stormtrooper. You'll be heading down there. TIE Fighter Pilot. What the f? But anyway, let's look at the accessory first. It's the same Stormtrooper rifle, which is appropriate. A little warp there, but we can fix that. Which is appropriate. So even though it's a reuse, it's a smart reuse, and it does go into his holster with no problem. Looking at the figure from top to bottom, we have the head, which is on a ball joint, little limited, but not really so bad. These hoses are plugged in. I wish they would have glued them. But you know, they stay pretty well. You can see when I get it to that angle, it's out. But yeah, nice tampered paint there with the Empire symbols on the helmet. The helmet is kind of like a glossier black plastic. The torso is too slim. The shoulders are not broad enough, I don't think. It throws the look off. It looks like a kid in the suit, which I'm not crazy about. And then we have this here with all this white paint and blue paint, red paint, like all done fairly well. So really nice job there. Another tampered Empire symbol there, which looks good. The shoulders are on ball discs, so pretty good range of motion there. Bicep swivel. We have this paint here, which I don't even feel like they had to do, and they did it. Elbow hinge getting you 90 degrees. Wrist on a hinged swivel. Getting you anything you could want there. Nice sculpting all in the clothes here, and even for like this scale of figure, a lot of times with clothes and stuff, it's hard to hide the seams, and you know the seam is there obviously, but it's not hateful. It's really not. It looks good. Waist swivel, and hips are on universal joints. Actually, no, they're not tricky. They're on ball joints. They're just well hidden, and they work fine. Thigh swivel, which is okay. You know, warps the mold after a certain point, but not the worst thing ever. Double jointed knees that work just fine and aren't the worst looking thing ever, especially for the price point. No calf swivel, which you know I like. Glossy boots, nice sculpt all in the pants down here. Looks good, even like the BDU style pockets there. Ankle tilt and rocker, which is a nice articulation. The problem is that they're ratcheted, and the ratchet notches are too far apart. So what ends up happening is, in the more like natural stance, he's too back heavy to really stand. And if you try to ratchet the ankle forward one tilt, he's obviously too front heavy. It's too extreme of an angle. So the ratchets kind of do this guy a disservice. So, you know, that's unfortunate. I think maybe if you get him at a wider stance and then use the rocker, but even that, like that works, but you don't really want a TIE Fighter pilot in such a wide stance. Size comparison wise, there he is next to a Stormtrooper, and Stormtrooper is, you know, a little bit taller, which I kind of like. They look good together. Final thoughts, there's a lot of problems here. There's a lot of big problems. The fact that he can't really stand well is the biggest. That really kills it for me. That's what makes this hard to suggest to you to purchase, because that's a kind of a deal breaker. Like, you want the guy to stand on your shelf. Now, if you're keeping them in box, if you're that type of a collector, then he'll be fine. But if you don't, and you want to get him out and manipulate him and mess with him, and then you're not going to be happy because the way that the ankles work. And I can't really recommend him to you. The other problem is that I think that the proportions are off with the body. I just think that the torso is way too slim and it's way too narrow, and it kind of throws the whole thing off for me. It's a shame because I really like the sculpt of, you know, how they did the uniform and stuff, and I really think that the paint is top notch. I think that the articulation is perfect with the exception of these large notches within the ratchets on the ankles. Otherwise, it works perfectly. I have his hose out there, but I'm afraid, well, you know what, I'm afraid I won't be able to get him to stand up if I... There we go. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, you got him standing there and he doesn't look too bad. And that's true, he doesn't look too bad from the angle. But if I back out and turn it a little bit, look how leaned over backwards he is in order to take that position. So I can't really recommend him if you're a Star Wars freak like I am. Chances are you already made up your mind and got to have him anyway, and I don't fault you. It just is what it is. That's the life you chose. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.